Hi guys, welcome to our review of Game of Thrones. We are on Season 3, Episode 3 with Dan, as per usual. Let's get started. It was a good episode. It was
an excellent episode.
My actual all-time favourite Game of Thrones episode ever. Like, genuinely, it's top of
It's in my top 3.
It's top of the list for me.
Tres.
And that's because it had so much Cersei and Jamie content in this episode. Like, it's everything I want.
I think from the first scene, it was just, they didn't miss a trick.
Well, the first
They did not
scene
miss a trick.
was Jon and Tyrion,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Like,
There was it was just the most satisfying reunion because they mentioned when they last saw each other.
Yeah.
They were then talking about like signs of the two characters that link the character that links them both together.
there was no messing about. Like, you
There
have
was no messing
pairs
about.
of characters just interacting like they're supposed to from the start.
Yep.
After Jon and Dany had first met, it felt like they already knew each other. Like,
The first meeting between them was just perfect.
yeah,
It was absolutely perfect.
it was exactly what I wanted.
Because neither of them broke like character. Because usually, if like your character meets a bigger group of characters, you might lose something to fit in with them. But no, it was still just Jon, and it was still just Daenerys, and it worked so well.
And you can actually see, I don't know if they're actually going to go with this or not, but you can actually really see how Dany might be Queen of the Seven Kingdoms and Jon could be Warden of the North, and they could have a really healthy working relationship.
But will anything work out that well in the Thrones world?
No.
Unlikely.
Sir Davos met Dany today.
Davos met, yeah.
Sir Davos met Dany, he was
Is
finally
it
with
Dany or is it Danny? We say Dany.
Well,
but
it's
I've never
Dany.
heard anyone else
It's Dany,
say.
because when Viserys dies, you know, and he's getting like the crown of gold,
Yeah.
he goes, Dany, please.
Dany,
But I
please.
just call her Dany for some reason.
Yeah, and I call her Danny because you call her Danny.
Yeah,
It's just caught on.
it's not.
I think it's just us.
It's just us that call her Dany. But I've noticed lots of people in the Game of Thrones fandom have weird pronunciations of the characters. Like, I hear lots of people saying Cersei
Cersei.
and Jaime and stuff like that. And I think it's because a lot of people read the books before they saw the TV series, so they already had their
probably.
idea of stuff. So, what was your favourite scene of the whole episode?
My favourite scene of the whole episode was when Jon, Tyrion, Melisandre, Davos, and that lot were walking along the wall towards
Is it Dragonstone?
Dragonstone, yeah. And what was it? I think it was just after the line where Tyrion said, "You Stark shouldn't come south," something like that. It doesn't end well for you. And the moment Jon said, "I'm not a Stark," this bloody great dragon comes over him and he's jumping down and it's crazy. It's just so exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Because it has that sort of crossover appeal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because even though it's been the same show, it feels like
they're in different worlds.
it feels and it
They could be separate shows that crossed over for a special.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Amazing. And Davos' little bit with Melisandre was nice.
Davos is... I realised why I like Davos so much. He reminds me of like a combination of Ant and Dec, but elderly.
Ant and Dec?
Yeah, like Ant and Dec in one person, because he's a Geordie. He's like a Geordie.
Aspects of Declan Donnelly does...
Well, I didn't want...
Davos,
Okay, right,
the
so
only
mostly he's like Ant's my favourite out of Ant and Dec.
Davos is Saturday Night Takeaway.
He is kind of like... Can you imagine elderly Ant McPartlin being like Sir Davos?
But this little moments they decided to include, like, they actually had a conversation between Davos and Melisandre, which, like, if in any other writer would do this or any other showrunner did this, that little scene might not have happened. But that's the kind of stuff we want to see, just characters that you wouldn't usually interact, chatting.
I really liked the fact that kind of Dany was sort of called out and it needed to happen. Because she is a hero character, but in order for her to continue being a hero character, she needs to be continually called out when she gets dictatory. And I love that dynamic with Jon, because he's even better at this than Tyrion is. Like, every time she starts getting all, "Oh, well, my father conquered the Seven Kingdoms," Jon's like, no, I don't think so.
Do you like Jon more now?
I've always really liked Jon.
Brilliant.
I really do love Jon as a character. Like, I think he's wonderful. I trust him.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he is brilliant. He's actually turning out a lot like Ned.
Somehow working with like the rest of the Westeros world really works for Jon, because he actually shines more when he's not with other Northerners. He's not with, like, his character comes through more.
Yeah.
And when he's not got Sansa there, like, a Littlefinger, like.
Talking of Sansa though, I mean, like,
That was good, yeah.
The Sansa scenes at Winterfell were good. She clearly knows what she's doing. I love how Tyrion and Jon both, like, acknowledged in the episode that, okay, Sansa is smarter than people gave her credit for. She knows what she's doing. Although I think that's foreshadowing, because I think she's going to somehow revolt against Jon in some way.
Yeah, I mean, the meeting between Jon and Dany was interesting, but the meeting between Sansa and Dany would be far more interesting, because I think it would have had a completely different outcome as well.
Oh my god.
If Sansa had gone to meet Dany, it wouldn't have worked out.
No, I don't think so. No, I think Sansa would have been way more... she's less compromising than Jon.
Yeah. And I do think that Jon will, whenever he does go back to Winterfell, though, he will see how well Sansa's doing in charge. I think he'll probably leave her in charge somehow. I think... Yeah,
I think she'll end up in a position of power. And let's talk about... talking of the Sansa scenes. Okay, so Bran turned up.
Oh, can I just... First of all, when there was someone at the gates, did you think it was going to be Arya?
I was so excited, because I was like, oh my god, the Stark sisters are going to reunite. Here we go.
I think everyone thought it was going to be Arya, but oh well.
And it was Bran.
He was being a bit weird, wasn't he?
That kind of sums up my relationship
Was it
with
usually
Bran.
that weird?
No, he's got weirder since last series. Can you
He's
imagine?
got weirder since episode 1, hasn't he?
Somehow, in the journey from last series to this, it's been a weird journey for
Poor Mira, yeah.
I know. Can you imagine Mira, like...
She's not even got Hodor anymore.
I'm sure they used to have conversations.
Well, Bran's just sit there now, like...
I'm too cool for you. I'm the three-eyed raven. I don't have conversation with normal people anymore.
Weirdo.
I'm sure he's putting it on, because...
Weird, and then Sansa was, like, hugging him, and he was just like...
No, but elderly Bran isn't that weird. We've seen future Bran, and he's a normal person. Well, the three-eyed raven, the old man,
Maybe
Bran,
in your headcanon theory, we've seen the older Bran
I thought that was Bran.
No, but that's not Enkerfer.
That is... I thought that was old Bran. Okay, maybe that's just a fan theory. I thought that was real. Okay.
No.
Alright, maybe not.
I don't think so.
Alright, so there might be a future.
I mean, that's it, probably, but I don't think it's been confirmed, is it? No one ever said, oh, that's older you, did they? Talking of mistakes made, well done for pointing me out on how many sand snakes survived. For some reason, I had it in my head that the whip one survived.
No, but
then I remembered the shot,
when we rewatched, it was her hanging off the...
I remember, I did see the shot the first time round, and I sort of remembered it. I was like, oh, hang on.
Wait a minute.
She died.
She's dead.
Yeah.
She's gone. Getting back to quickly the Sansa scene before we move on to that. Like,
Oh, sorry to break your little schedule.
No, I just want to talk about Sansa again here, and Sansa and Bran. That scene under the werewolf tree...
the what tree?
Is it called the werewolf tree? You know, the Starks... You know, because they have lots of... Like, I really like at the start of series 1.
Have we got a weird sort of humid filter on us now, just out of nowhere?
It will go and...
It just sort of started, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
That's a little treat for you.
Lovely.
Homely. Vintage feel.
Yeah, lovely. Sepia tone. Sepia tone. She, when she was talking with Bran under the trees... I felt so sorry for her, because I don't understand why... I can understand Bran becoming less emotional. Okay, he's got, like, a lot of stuff going on in his head. But was there any actual need to be so rude and to not explain anything? And then, on top of all that, he decides, let's talk to Sansa about something really traumatic in a really weird, vague way.
Do we definitely know that Three-Eyed Raven isn't actually a villain? And what we're seeing isn't a villain origin story?
That would be very fascinating. I mean, poor Sansa everyone has to sympathise with Sansa during that scene, because she was getting nothing.
And it felt weird, because he was also, like, completely, like, disregarding her, and he was like, I need to see Jon. Like, it felt odd.
It's kind of like, why could he not
he needs to see Jon,
Sansa?
obviously, because of the parentage thing, but...
Yeah. I mean...
Or does he? Imagine if, like, there's a big twist and he doesn't actually tell him about that, and we think he's going to, then he doesn't, and then we realise, hang on, something's wrong with Bran. Like... evil.
Your theory from before, White Walker Bran. White Walker Bran.
That'll be my theory until the end of the final episode.
Yeah.
Ever. I'll still think Bran is some sort of White Walker Trojan horse.
What do you think is going to happen in terms of, at Winterfell now, Sansa's been left in charge, but she herself has acknowledged that, okay, Bran is technically the rightful Lord of Winterfell now. Bran doesn't want to be the Lord, but do you think that will throw up problems? Do you think that there'll be people...
Can you imagine Bran being in charge? That's not going to happen, is it?
No.
Bran, what do we do?
No, but I'm sure he's putting it on. I'm sure he's putting it on just to be dramatic. I think it's like his thing, because all his siblings...
He's been through a lot. No one's actually asked him what he's been through.
No, but all his siblings are going through these like really exciting arcs, and they're like not doing that, you know?
I mean... Yeah. Yeah.
Arya's been out there murdering people and taking people's faces.
But
Jon's
Bran
died.
has been like time travelling and bloody seeing the past and the future and...
So there was no excuse for his...
talking to trees.
...rudeness to Sansa, like, there was no excuse for that.
No. There's no excuse to that.
No. I actually really like your maybe Bran's... Maybe this is a villain origin story theory, actually.
I don't know, yeah. It seems odd. Yeah. I'm sure that might not be right, but it feels like there's something wrong with the situation.
Yes.
It feels like there's something quite unnerving and not quite right about what's going on.
Also, I mean, it hasn't been that much time since last series, we don't think. And there's been such a change in Bran, and I don't think that would be a mistake in, like, the actor himself isn't randomly going to suddenly change how he plays the character unless there's some reason for it. Has he seen something else on his journey? Does he realise something else is going to happen? Has he got something else on his mind?
If I'm actually right, imagine that. We called it in review 1.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Okay, moving on to the mess.
Moving on to the mess.
The mess that was. Not this episode. Not this. No, I was really glad to see that Sam actually.
That sort of mess.
His story was actually really nice, and it kind of made sense. I still don't see why we had to have such a build-up, such gross build-up to stuff.
But it was really nice, actually, wasn't it? Yeah.
He's actually doing really well.
It was really, really. It was really sweet, that little moment between Jorah and Sam.
Because Jorah's father was like looked after.
It was
Sam.
Unnecessarily sweet, and I liked that.
It was sweet, but I do.
They were like.
And also, that must be the first time anyone's touched Jorah in so long because of the grayscale.
Could be.
And what I was going to say is the Melisandre scene in Varys.
Was also
right, good. So Varys is one of my favourite characters.
Do you like Melisandre a bit more now?
No, I don't like Melisandre, but I find her fascinating. Kind of in the same way that I feel about Cersei, but not with such a strong character affection in a way.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, she's a villainous character because, you know, she does anything just because the Lord of Light tells her.
But she appreciated it was a complete mistake, though. I think she's seeing.
But does she mean it was a mistake because she feels bad about killing the child, though, or just because she realises it was unnecessary, though? That's the question.
I don't know, but
Varys knows. Varys understands. I mean, Varys does not. Varys in that scene was hilarious. There are going to be so many reaction JFs of Varys. When she was saying, like, I've got to come back and die here, and so have you, Varys was like, I don't think so.
Did you get that reading? I thought he was scared.
Oh no, I thought he was like...
No, Varys was scared.
Not me. I won't be dying here.
No, I thought Varys was scared. He was actually quite unnerved, I thought.
Going to the other end of the spectrum, now we talked about Varys. Littlefinger in this, I really liked his speech to Sansa about how he sees the world. And how actually Sansa...
Every series of events is happening at once.
See, if he has that...
Consequences.
Him and Bran have got the same outlook, but at least... Peter might be a creep, but at least he's not rude to people. He's seeing everything at once all the time.
Yeah.
Imagine being Peter Baelish. No, but I really like the fact...
up on walls all day.
Yeah.
Oh. Sansa. Can I add a little... interject.
Go on.
There. I was watching some old clips from season 1 last night. And Littlefinger's actually changed a lot in terms of like
his
accent and character.
Has changed so much.
Well, that's just a side note anyway.
Has he become really way more Irish or something?
It's odd.
Because now it's starting to get like this.
I mean I like it more now, but before it was a bit odd.
Yeah, he has changed it a great deal.
I don't know when it changed.
I think I want to see Varys and Littlefinger meet each other again, so Varys can be like, what in the hell happened to you?
Yeah. Oh, nothing.
Why are you Irish now? Something I like of Sansa as a character, and I think there are some historical parallels here, is that Sansa's really smart in the way that we've seen her drawing on Cersei. Cersei is an evil character, but she knows how to control through fear. And we've seen that in some ways Sansa has picked up on that and has taken that in her own worldview of how she's going to rule. She's also taking in what she needs from Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Now, as long as she sticks with mostly what Jon's way of doing stuff, those things combined are going to make her such a good leader. Like, she's taking the very most formidable aspects of the villains and
I can see some sort of situation happening actually where Sansa actually mucks things up. I can see some sort of alliance actually almost happening between everyone, but then I can see this sort of situation where Sansa's like loyalty to the North and her sort of outlook on what things should be and how things should be.
She's got a lot of
I can feel
revenge.
it somehow mucking things up somehow, yeah.
Yeah. I think she's got a similar sort of revenge that her mother had. Catelyn had that as well. Catelyn was very full of vengeance. But then, so that's another trait she shares with Cersei, though.
Yeah.
They're both pretty ruthless in their revenge.
Yeah. Must admit, here's a controversial thing for me to say.
Okay.
I wasn't not on Cersei's side when she was for some reason when she
Killing
was...
Ilaria.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah. No.
And I absolutely... like
You hate her, don't you?
Oberyn Martell.
Yeah.
And I absolutely can't stand Cersei Lannister.
Yeah.
However, I do think Ilaria Sand was wrong to kill Cersei's daughter.
Yes.
She could have easily just done that to Jamie or something, really, couldn't she?
An eye for an eye, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Ilaria started that fight.
So, yeah, I can... Well,
I mean, Cersei absolutely should not have gone and, like, killed the daughter. Like, she could have just killed Ilaria.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
I do sort of... It was... Yeah, it felt... Yeah.
And I feel like there wasn't enough narrative weight in the past shown to the fact that Myrcella died, because obviously Cersei adored her children, especially Myrcella. And I'm so glad that sort of got avenged. And the way it was done was really...
Yeah, it was...
I was waiting for that.
Really,
I thought she was going to do it exactly.
I knew she was going to do that. I could tell she was wearing the lipstick because it was
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going out like that, though.
Anyway, I love all the references to, like, the past, though. It feels like they're really amping it up. It feels like a series finale. This whole season feels like a series finale.
Everything's being tied up.
To everything,
It all feels worth it.
Like, all the...
Everything.
There was the little moment I loved was when Euron, right, when he was bringing in Ilaria and Yara and the other Sansa into the Great Hall.
Yeah.
And there was the little moment where Ilaria looked up and saw the mountain, and it was so good.
Yeah, but that's
like
also...
little moments that would have been lost in any, like, they could have easily just been cut out, but they kept them, like,
but also,
great.
it's going to make it better on rewatch as well.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much stuff when you watch it back and be like, oh wow,
Imagine
there's
if
such
you
a
binge
payoff.
season 1 to, like, 8 all in one go. Imagine that.
Yeah, it'll be such a payoff for that.
Yeah.
I loved the scenes with... Right, so the scene where Euron takes his prisoners into the Great Hall, I thought Jamie was going to commit a cold-blooded murder right there. Like, it was so close. Like, there was a moment when Jamie's face just snapped, and I thought he is a second away from killing Euron. Like, he was just going to stab him right there.
Jamie Lannister is up there with... just second to Theon for me now. Honestly, it's
Jamie is my favourite male character in Game of Thrones. Actually, him and Sir Davos.
Yeah.
And I also like Varys as well, but Jamie is my favourite.
Yeah.
Definitely. But then he's been my favourite male character since season 1. Since the moment he pushed Bran out of that tower and said the things I do for love.
When he pushed the child out of the tower, that's when you thought, oh, good, I found my favourite male character.
My favourite male character, yeah.
Bran was really, like, nice at that point, though. He was really cute and little, and you still thought, oh, well, that's good.
No, because he was... It's the thing that I really like about Jamie, so I'm going to just get into a little bit here about Jamie and Cersei and what I find so compelling, because, like, I think a lot of people, like, get this. Like, honestly, that is such a... When I say I like that relationship, the thing about it that I like is not that it's a relationship which is good or healthy or that you even want to happen. It's so tragic. It's like watching a car crash. Like, it really is. It's like... It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's codependent and it's twisted and it's bad. And it's like you're always rooting for Jamie to realise and leave. You're always rooting for that all the time. But it's just tragic because you know he won't be happy without her.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. Like, both of those Lannister children,
I think the discussion he had with Olenna was great at the end. Because, like, it was great for her, but it was also great for Jamie, though. Because he was, like, identifying that he knows he's come too far. Sort of, in a way. He knows he's in too deep.
Yeah.
But he knows it's gonna, like, end him. But
he's just that far in.
Yeah.
But all three of the Lannister children, I think, have been pretty much destroyed by the Lannister ambition in that family.
Yeah.
They probably all started out as normal, nice children, and then it just...
Even old Joff.
It's so tragic.
Joffers. Yeah.
The Lannister... The first generation and the second generation of Lannisters have been so messed up by the society they're in and everything. It's so tragic and sad. Something I noticed in the Olenna and Jamie scene. Right, so you know when Jamie... So first of all, like, we'll talk about Olenna's actual end in a minute.
Okay.
But Jamie's reaction to that, a lot of people have noticed it wasn't sort of... They were like, oh, he looks really distressed. Like, is he distressed about the fact his son died, you know, Joffrey? But I didn't read it as that. I thought it was because he realised that it wasn't Tyrion and he thought it was. Remember when...
But did he think it was Tyrion?
No, but he didn't stand up for Tyrion properly. And I think having that confirmation that Tyrion went through all that...
I mean, yeah, now he knows that will change things when the inevitable
everything.
Reunion happens.
His loyalty is starting to shift. I don't think he's becoming less loyal to Cersei, but his loyalty to Tyrion is growing. And the only person in this world, not even Brienne, really, the only person in this world who's capable of changing Jamie and getting Jamie away is Tyrion. Those are the two relationships in Jamie's life which are so powerful. So, although I can't see Jamie surviving and becoming a hero because he's going to die with Cersei, I think that's pretty signposted at this point.
I don't know.
Because he's going to take her down, isn't he? I think it's leading. He
will. I think he will. But
because obviously you already know this if you like Game of Thrones, but Jamie was called the Kingslayer because he took down the Mad King.
The Mad.
And everyone thought, he's a villain because he took down the king for Lannister. For Lannister ambition. And now he's kind of watching his own nightmare play out because Cersei's becoming like the Mad Queen. And he's going to have to take her down and it's going to be absolutely tragic. And I think he's going to die. I think he's going to kill himself after that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to die a hero though, because he's been hated in the Seven Kingdoms. But it's going to be so tragic because when he dies, and it will be for killing the person he loves the most.
I hope he dies a hero. I hope people know the hero.
I hope people... I mean, he's not really... he kind of is a hero, kind of isn't. That's what I love about Game of Thrones though. Like, the characters are so morally grey. Like, you can have evil characters doing really heroic things, heroic characters making terrible decisions and putting people in danger.
Who rescued Theon?
Just Ironborn soldiers.
But not supporting Euron?
I'm not completely sure.
Because that's what I was thinking. Because I thought everyone had turned against them apart from... Like, I thought, like, everyone on the Iron Islands had turned against Euron and Yara. Theon and Yara.
I thought so too. They could be a stray band. It could just be that they don't even see Theon as a threat enough.
Maybe, yeah. Because I thought, when they picked him up, I thought, oh my god, they're going to, like, kick him and beat him up. But then they didn't. And
I'm so glad they didn't.
God,
Poor
thank
Theon.
God for that.
I think Theon is going to save his sister somehow, though.
The tragic... the tragic and inevitable fate of Theon Greyjoy is doing something heroic and dying.
Yeah.
He will prove that he's no longer under that sort of... He's not a coward. He knows what the right thing to do is at the end of the day, and he's going to die doing it. Yeah,
well, I think we already saw that a little bit with Sansa and Ramsay. Like, wasn't that satisfying? When he finally took... Like, when him and Sansa held hands and they jumped off the top of...
Remember you thought they died?
Well, I
remember you telling me
I'm sure realistically they would have, but... You know, it is Game of Thrones, so we can suspend disbelief a little.
Realistically. Talking of realistically and believing things, does it... I mean, I feel like...
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I mean... Dany, like, Tyrion, they live in a world with, like... Not so much Tyrion, but mainly Dany.
Right, there's 3 dragons.
They live in a world with 3 bloody supernatural, mythical dragons.
She can't burn.
Actual dragons. She can't
just walks
burn.
through fire.
Her friend-zoned friend is turning into a rock man. Yet the thought of White Walkers...
It's too much. It's too far.
Much.
It's just too far this time.
Yeah, like, come on. Grow up. Not on my Nelly. Nelly? What's going on?
I was just thinking about
You just looked for a note.
No, I just
turned back and was like...
I just completely, just went and was thinking about stuff. Thinking about everything. Do we think that,
Think about that.
No, I was actually thinking about Jamie and Cersei, because I saw on my notes and I was like, we've already kind of talked about Jamie and Cersei, but I could talk about them forever, by the way. Like, you give me a couple with that dynamic, I'm there. That dynamic is just...
A big step was when she allowed the girl to see Jamie in bed.
Oh my god, it's so
forward.
tragic though, like... And also, when Jamie was talking to Olenna, he managed to persuade Cersei not to kill her violently.
Cersei wanted to, like, drag her naked, whipping her, and then behead her through the streets.
Yeah.
She's an old woman, can you imagine that? Oh my god.
I think even, like, the peasants wouldn't even be jeering. They'd be absolutely like, oh my god.
And that's, the peasants are actually very low there.
They actually really are.
They're easily entertained. They're sick.
As Jamie said himself.
Yeah.
Jamie pointed that out, he's like, you can't trust the peasants, like, they just do whatever.
You can't trust the peasants.
No.
They watch people trial by combat, they watch people get whipped through the street, they vote for Donald Trump.
Can we talk about the last scene with Olenna Tyrell? So I just need to say, I'm representing...
We can talk about the last scene with Olenna Tyrell.
Representing House Tyrell, because it's my house, and my house is finally gone, but they went with such aplomb. Like, I was... You know the word aplomb?
No.
I think that's a word.
Yeah,
I've said it before, but now you're making me doubt myself.
Never heard of the word plomb.
It's just something... Aplomb.
What's aplomb?
With, like, great drama and, like, gravitas, I suppose. I don't know how to... I'll put a definition on the screen for those
I did not know that.
Yeah. Dan, your house is House Martell, so we've basically done like the house sorting kind of thing for Game of Thrones houses, and also we fit their houses pretty well.
Yeah.
Dan's a Martell, I'm a Tyrell, and both our houses sort of got destroyed this episode.
Kill the children!
No, but didn't they both kind of get completely taken out this episode?
Yeah.
Mine went with a lot more aplomb than yours, I think. Yours really went with Oberyn, didn't it? I know we had the Sand Snakes, but they were never really Oberyn. And
then Ilaria killed his brother, and...
I don't know why she did that. Like, imagine if the Dornish force was all together and like...
She's a bit of a...
She's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
She is a real loose cannon. So anyway, we actually went to Highgarden, which is exciting, because we've never seen Highgarden before. And I love Olenna as a character. She's basically... You can imagine Marjorie getting to that point if she'd reached that age.
She's never been to Highgarden before?
Never been to Highgarden before.
That's cool.
I don't think so, no. I just love her dignity and the fact that she knew she was potentially going to be killed. She didn't know how. She's just sitting in that room and she is waiting. I think she had the best Game of Thrones death. I was saying this earlier. I think she had the best Game of Thrones death because...
Ever?
Really, yeah. The most powerful death, because not only was it painless, but she gulped that wine down. And she was so eager to get the last word and be like, tell Cersei, it was me. It was me that killed Joffrey.
Will Jamie do it?
Will Jamie do what?
Tell her.
Do you know what? I don't think he will. I think he'll keep it to himself. I think... Oh no, because he'll want to get Tyrion off the hook, won't he?
But I think it will come to that though. I think maybe that later in the series there'll be some sort of situation where Cersei wants to kill Tyrion, then Jamie has to finally be like, no, it wasn't Tyrion.
It wasn't Tyrion, it was Olenna Tyrell.
Yeah.
And then, but in a way, I guess that will make Cersei feel a bit better about the fact that she got rid of them all, I guess. Like, burned them all.
Yeah.
So it will kind of like an eye for an eye kind of thing.
God, a lot of people have died, haven't they?
A lot of people have died, yeah.
Since the start, wow. I love the bit, and this is just an example of how less episodes means we can move faster. How the battle that Grey Worm and the Unsullied led...
The Casterly Rock battle,
against the Lannisters. Oh my god, it was so cool.
I think that's the first time we've probably seen Casterly Rock as well.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But when you had like Tyrion's narration over it, like usually that, like if we had a longer series arc or a longer span of episodes, it probably would have been like an entire episode dedicated to that. But I mean, the way they did it was just...
It was fantastic, and also...
And the twist.
Wait, what was the twist? So Jamie wasn't actually there? Jamie
most of the forces. And then they were like, well, where are the actual forces? And then like they played the music and you're like...
Yes! Oh, we love Jamie Lannister, don't we? In the armour, leading them to battle. I mean...
In the cool armour.
Jamie Lannister. I mean, it's enough to make you want to support the Lannisters. I mean, could you support the Lannisters for Jamie?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Nice try.
But there was a really great... what you were saying about payoffs earlier is that we know that earlier in this, not this season, but an earlier season, we know that Tyrion was given like the upkeep of the sewers by Tywin as like a horrible thing. Like, you know, Tywin was always so horrible to Tyrion.
Was that actually in an episode?
Yeah, he was like, oh, you can deal with the sewers, and actually Tyrion, being the character he is, has used that to his advantage. Isn't that his whole character though?
Yeah.
He gets dealt the worst like possible hand in life, but he's always like, okay, how can I use this to my advantage? Imagine if Tyrion was a villainous character like Cersei, though. I mean, he'd be unstoppable because he's the brains of that family.
Yeah.
Tyrion as a villain would be quite scary, I think. Okay, so I want to talk just a little bit more about some of the dialogue in that Olenna Tyrell scene because it was everything that is needed and convinces me that we are leading up to...
Did you... I can't quite tell. Did you like that scene or not?
What, the Jamie and Olenna scene?
The Olenna scene. I can't tell if you loved it. Yeah, okay.
I love that scene. Do you know what? That is actually my favourite...
I wish you'd be clearer how you felt
my
about
favourite Game of Thrones scene I have ever seen. I'm not even going to lie. Like, honestly, it was genuinely... Like, I wrote down some of the dialogue because, like, to me, I was absolutely dying. Like, I came out of this episode feeling like I'd had a spiritual experience. Like, God.
See, my favourite dialogue scenes were the ones between Jon and Dany, but I'll...
Did you make notes though? To tell the people your favourite bit?
I was watching the episode. Right,
so let me just read some of this stuff, because this is gold for me. Right, so this is the tragedy of Jamie's character. Right, so Olenna says, she's a monster, you do know that? And he goes, to you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like the saddest thing.
Yeah. See, I saw some people, little like, Charles, they were like, oh, you can really tell that they're no longer following George R. R. Martin's dialogue, that the dialogue's really going downhill.
I don't think it is.
No, not at all.
I think the dialogue's been great.
Not at all.
This episode was really good dialogue, I thought.
Yeah.
But listen to this, right? So, another one. You love her, you really do love her, you poor fool. She'll be the end of you, possibly. Like...
Did she say possibly?
No. Sorry.
What's going on? Why did you just say possibly?
No, because possibly was Jamie's response.
Oh.
Jamie says possibly.
Possibly.
Like, he doesn't even care anymore. Like, he's lost
Jamie
everything.
Lannister.
The same as
Jamie
Cersei.
Lannister. I'm trying to do it.
Jamie's voice is a weird one. Jamie's voice is sort of slightly...
Trying to do a Jamie Lannister.
It's like British, but it's also not. Like, a bit Australian-y, a bit...
Cersei, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Also, I like the fact that Olenna took responsibility for some of her part in, like... You know how she described Cersei as being like a disease?
Yeah.
And obviously the Tyrells in their climbing... They played the Reigns of Castamere in this episode as well, which was great. It was like the modern Reigns of Castamere. Yeah, like, it was so great. But they kind of played their part as well, didn't they? Because in their climb, they did ally with the Lannisters. And now she's starting to realise, oh, okay, like, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Cersei's becoming unstoppable. She's becoming the next Mad King, basically. She's becoming the Mad Queen. We're all going to die.
Yeah. Just talking of I know we brushed over it, but Jorah is now going to go and he's going to go and find her, isn't he?
Yeah.
See, the exciting thing is, we've now got several characters heading in exactly the same direction. Because we've got Theon coming to Dragonstone. I think he's probably going to get there next episode.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're getting...
He's going to have a reunion with Jon. Don't know how that's going to go down. We've got Jorah coming to Dragonstone. We know we've got the Hound and Beric and that lot heading up north. Oh my god, they're all going to...
Right, I've thought of a scenario. This is just completely off the top of my head. Like, a scenario that could cause a slight wedge between Jon and Sansa.
Yeah.
How they deal with Theon. Now, do you see Jon going down a Ned Stark path and being like, can want justice? He's killed people.
I don't know, that'll be interesting.
It'll be brilliant because Jon won't want to do it. He won't want to kill Theon. That's not who he is. But as Warden of the North, he might feel like he's got to be like Ned and pass sentence. Whereas Sansa will be like, no.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. Like, that would be an amazing sort of...
But I don't think Jon would do that. I don't think Jon's as dead set as Ned was, or as Robb is. He's way more human than either of those two, I think. Personally.
Yes, but I'm just thinking pressure from the Lords.
No, I don't think Jon Snow doesn't crack to pressure.
No, that's true.
He does what he wants. He doesn't know if it's the right thing to do, but he does it. Yeah. And I tell you what, Jon's like... I always liked Jon Snow. Always, like, he's brilliant, he's like a hero. But this episode, he's just gone up and up in my... His character just shone through when he was interacting with everyone.
He didn't... Most characters, when they interact with Dany, it's the Dany show, isn't it? It's like, here's the Queen, and we're like supporting characters. Even Tyrion slightly, but not with Jon. Jon felt like this...
It was like this other force,
Like, genuinely, it was like... I wonder if people... I know some people ship Jon and Dany. And to be honest, I can see it sort of happening.
I sort of do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about it because we're in a universe where that sort of thing's sort of okay. I mean, they are nephew and aunt, but I mean, they don't know.
Distant generational aunt-nephew thing.
But it's
worse things have happened. They don't actually know.
Suspend our disbelief a bit for this universe.
Oh, wasn't that a really cool bit of dialogue where Dany said to him, "I'm the last Targaryen" or something.
Yeah.
And he was, and like everyone at home must have been like.
But how is Dany going to feel when she finds out? This is my question. Will she feel?
So that's another thing that could completely ruin everything. Yeah.
Will she feel threatened and think, "What? No, I've won this. I am the Targaryen." Or, I mean, what's going to happen? Will Jon even... I don't even think Jon will want it. I think Jon's that sort of perfect character in the sense he's so moral that he won't want that responsibility. If you tell Jon you're actually the rightful king, Jon's going to think, no thanks, I'd rather just stay in the north, I think.
Did you see the trailer for the next episode?
No.
It looks very, very good. I believe there's a big battle happening next episode.
Between?
By the looks of things, it's the Dothraki and Dany's forces with the Unsullied and the dragons. It looked like someone was riding a dragon in the trailer.
Who? Was it Dany or...?
Again, you couldn't really tell. It looked like a figure. It didn't actually look like Dany, to be honest, which is exciting. And I think they're against a Lannister army? I don't know. There's no one else for them to be against.
Yes, I'd like for them to fight the Lannister army.
I think that's happening next episode. Also, when I spoiled myself in episode 6, either in the next episode or the episode after that, a character is going to come back that we have not seen in ages.
Gendry.
I was going to be subtle about it.
know the spoiler. I'm just guessing. I mean, he's been away for ages. Everyone's like, oh, hopefully Gendry's coming back. I mean,
if the spoilers are to be believed, which trailers have backed up and footage and interviews have backed up,
I would love him to come back.
Then in the next 2 episodes we are going to see the return of Gendry.
I mean, he is potentially going to be the king of all of Westeros because he is Robert Baratheon's child.
What do you think he's doing? What do you think he is? I don't think it'll be as simple as he just rose up again. He's like, I'm back. I don't think it'll be. I think he's with someone.
He's been rowing all this time.
I think, yeah. I don't know. I feel like he's with, or he's part of a group or something. I don't know.
He's going to meet Arya again. Definitely. I mean, that could blossom into a romance now they're older. Like, that would be beautiful. I loved their interactions when they were younger.
Would that make her Arya Baratheon?
Arya Baratheon. Oh, what a nice, like, peace among the houses kind of thing going on there. Yeah. And also it brings back the Baratheon house because they've kind of gone now. Yeah. So we actually have another Baratheon.
I do miss the Baratheons. I like the Baratheons.
I liked Renly.
Stannis the Manus and Renly, yeah.
I liked Renly, yeah. They both were kind of like, I've said this before in other reviews, but they were both like different versions of Henry VIII, I thought. Like, Renly was sort of like young Henry VIII. And then you had, like, Robert, the kind of drunken, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just thinking about the future of the show, like, what are the sort of fan moments they've got to fit in? I think they'll probably fit in the reunion between the Clegane brothers. There'll be some sort of
I think the Hound's going to take him down.
Yeah, there'll be the
Hound is
Clegane
going to
will
take him down. Yeah.
I've missed the Hound. I miss him in this episode.
Do you think he's going to have something to do with Gendry coming back? Or do you think he's going to meet up with Arya on the way there or something? Oh, one more thing we have to talk about before we go. Yeah. The Mark Gatiss cameo.
Oh.
That man is in everything, isn't he?
Just stop him.
I mean,
It brings me out of the episode. It generally does.
It does, because it's
more so
Mark
than Ed Sheeran for some reason.
Well, yeah, but just
like, I felt, oh my god, it's Mark Gatiss.
Mark Gatiss plays the same character in everything he's in right now. Like, that could have been Mycroft. Like, I don't know if that is just Mark Gatiss as a person. I don't know. He's on the front of the Radio Times right now.
He's in the new Doctor Who.
In the new Doctor Who trailer. Like, you won't believe, this isn't a Doctor Who review, we'll talk about this in the future, I'm sure, but there's a crossover, there's a big episode at Christmas with the 12th Doctor and the 1st Doctor, and the
third billing. So top billing goes to Capaldi,
yeah,
second billing goes to David Bradley, and just naturally, in this big crossover,
and let me just say as well, that Pearl Mackie as Bill Potts is in this episode. Billing,
yep.
She's fourth.
Third billing, of course, is Mark Gatiss. Naturally.
Mark Gatiss playing some sort of British soldier. His usual role he likes to play.
Yeah.
You know, he always plays that same character in everything he's in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that did throw me so much.
I didn't really want to see
him as anything
yet.
else.
He's got that effect where I've seen him so much I'm starting to just not like him.
I have this irrational dislike of Mark Gatiss, but not as a man. I think he's like he's probably like a really nice man. I don't mean that as a person, but just, you know, when you see someone in something so much and you get bored of seeing them, like, that's the Benedict Cumberbatch effect. Like, it's not that he's a bad actor or a bad person, it's just that he's overcast.
See, I'm over that now. I'm
over that too now.
I'm back on Team Cumberbatch.
But wasn't there a stage where he was in everything, and it felt like, no offence to Benedict himself, but he was in everything, and it was like, no, it's too much. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I just forget saying it.
There's literally... How did that happen?
I thought it was finished.
I hope that was captured on there.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Literally, it's all over my jeans.
I'll sort it out.
It's on the floor. Hang on. Just for future reference of the video, I want to show the mess you've made. This, right. Is that... It's on my arm.
You can just brush it off your arm.
Yeah, right. All those 3 photos are going in this video.
Right, okay.
What a mess. You foreshadowed this earlier when you were like, mess.
Oh my god, yeah.
Wow.
Foreshadowing. Okay, moving on to the mess.
Moving on to the mess. Okay. Bookended this video, haven't we? Mess at the start, mess at the end.
Deal with your arm. You've got a little bit of one. Right, so we're going to go now, I think. We've spoken about everything. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, lovely. Lovely, we're going to love that, yeah. Thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see you again next week if he's not elsewhere in the country, where he might be. But then, if he's not here, I'll probably make one on my own, which won't be so funny, but, you know.
It's weird, isn't it, when you go back to doing videos by yourself? How weird is that going to be?
Yeah, you act like I haven't been making videos by myself while you've been around.
Have they really been that successful?
They haven't been up, they haven't been released, but like I have been recording in the meantime, so like, you know. You think I can't cope without you now? You think I can't deal with it? Okay, anyway.
I can't live without you.
Okay, so we're going to go now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Please tell us your thoughts in the comment section. We do read your comments in the comment section, by the way, so...
I do, especially.
I
go on, like, newest, and I literally, like, refresh it.
You're the sort of person that when you're famous, you're going to Google yourself, probably.
Yeah.
And probably reply.
There's that one guy that was like, he has the smallest mouth I've ever seen.
Oh my god, there was one comment we just have to bring up. Was like...
I was like, so...
There was that one comment...
It works on my face.
There was that one comment from that person that was like, oh, Claudia's a twit, but her friend is hot.
That's probably my favourite comment
But the
ever.
funniest part of that, so I like that, but the funniest part is that our dad then went in the comment section and was like, well...
Don't say the word, yeah.
No, I'm going to say it. He was like, oh, you think she's a twit? You're a twat.
Yeah.
That was our dad going in. Boom! Taken out by our dad.
Going in.
Right, okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye now.